Don't do anything at all. Go ask out.
Greetings, welcome to another edition of After Hours. It's another special for Women in Horror Month. And tonight I am being joined by writer of children's books, horror, and part of Raven and Drake Publishing, Gemma Paul. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, very good, very good. Better now I've got a beer. Put it like that.
I would say always, but I don't drink beer, so.
All right, what are you drinking? I saw you with a bottle a minute ago.
Yeah, I don't drink very often, but because it's a special occasion, I'm drinking a cider.
Ah, Copperberg. Yeah.
And a nice girly strawberry and lime cider.
Nice. It's refreshing. Okay, I used to like them on a nice hot summer afternoon, something like that. Because you tend to do quite a lot of walking, like out in the country. I love country pubs.
Yeah.
And there's nothing like nicer than going between country pubs with one of them in the sun. But unfortunately, I've got type 2 diabetes now, so I can't do that. Because those things are death in a bottle to me. So.
They are, and also if this lockdown continues, you won't be able to go from country pub to country pub anyway. So.
Oh, yeah, tell me about it, man. Yeah, so you're down in Bournemouth, aren't you?
Yeah, right. Yeah, so not far from the sea, about 5 minutes drive from the sea.
Yeah, well, I can see it out the window. So, well, off my balcony. Yeah, because I'm in Hove. So.
I used to. I was in a flat that literally was like, same thing, over balcony overlooking the sea, and then I moved because I was living in a flat with 2 dogs, and one of them's a big dog, so
space is an issue. Yeah.
Yeah. So I needed a garden. So
yeah, you got a big dog. Everything just gets destroyed, doesn't it, when you've got a big pet in a small space? I've always been a cat person, but one of the cats I had turned out to be a Scottish wildcat. Got it from a rescue centre. It was this cute little tabby cat, and it turned out to be a Scottish wildcat, but it was hand reared, so it was just the soppiest thing you'd ever know. But it was really big and really, really clumsy, and it used to just destroy my flat. So.
Yeah, my Jimmy's clumsy. He's ex-racing greyhound, so.
Oh, nice.
Big. Yeah. 36 kilograms as well, so I can't lift him. He's too heavy. But he's soppy and he's clumsy and constantly rugs are flying everywhere and stuff's getting bumped into. And my other dog is smaller, luckily. She's a whippet. But yeah, so it was like.
I was just about to say, this will come as no surprise. Being northern, most of my family have whippets. So.
Yeah, people get really surprised to see them down here sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's
very northern thing, isn't it? A whippet.
Yeah, they are. But
it's like ferrets as well. So.
Yeah. Saying that, I'm not northern. Saying that, my mum was born in Preston, up in Lancashire. So I do have family that kind of hail sort of more northern, and then
I used to get gigs in Preston. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been, but I was saying that the rest of my family's from the Midlands, so we're kind of more northern than here.
Yeah, well, you couldn't get much more southern than Bournemouth, really, could you? Except the island.
No, exactly. Especially the Isle of Wight.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we've escaped.
Yeah, so I believe, because you are a filmmaker, am I right? Screenwriter.
Yeah, so I started actually as a makeup artist.
Cool.
Basically, I turned 30, had a midlife crisis at the age of 30.
I had one at the age of 21, don't worry about it.
I kind of wish I'd had it at 21. I kind of waited till I was 30. I was running a business of my dad's. It was destroying me mentally. So luckily, I convinced him to sell that part of the business. So then I left, decided to follow my dreams, become a makeup artist, did the training, did a couple of short films. Then I decided I don't like people and touching people. So makeup artist probably wasn't the best route for me.
No.
But I did film in college when I was like 18, so film was my thing. Wrote a short film from when I was doing makeup artists locally. I obviously got a few people that I knew, asked them if they wanted to help and be in my film. They did, and it kind of started from there. And we made, a few of us made that film in a day. It was
Nice.
called Underland, so that was horror. Basically Alice in Wonderland with a Mad Hatter's tea party with vampires.
Awesome.
So it's on Amazon.
Where can I watch that?
It's on Amazon. It's on Amazon Prime. If you've got Amazon Prime, yeah, have a look.
I've got Amazon Prime. Awesome.
Yeah, it's like
Right.
6 minutes long. But so we made that in a day, and literally we had, well, when you see them downing bottles of drink from alcohol bottles, it's actually alcohol, because I raided my nan's cupboard.
Nice.
But I then submitted
Method acting.
It is. The tablets though, because there's a bit of drug taking in it, but they were just
Well, Alice in Wonderland, there has to be, doesn't there, really?
Yeah.
Let's face it.
I would just like to say, the disclaimer, it was only ibuprofen, it wasn't actually anything dodgy.
That's actually a really weird coincidence, because for these specials, I asked a friend of mine, the singer Alixandrea Corvyn, if we could use her video for, she did a cover of Jefferson Aeroplane's White Rabbit.
Oh, okay.
And she did the Alice in Wonderland video and everything. So we're actually using that video as an intro.
That's cool.
And on the credits. So it's a bizarre coincidence, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had fun doing that, because I literally set up this massive tea party and it was super fun. We had cakes and all sorts. But just I went out on a whim and submitted it to a bunch of film festivals. And actually, okay, the first film festival it got accepted to was the Lady Filmmakers Festival in LA.
Bloody hell.
Which was awesome.
Yeah.
So I actually, my parents paid for me to actually go out to it, because they were like, this is amazing. So, you know, as a treat, they paid for me to go out to LA to the Lady Filmmakers Festival.
Bloody hell.
In Beverly Hills. So I was staying in Beverly Hills for a couple of days
Awesome.
I know, in a hotel that had a rooftop pool, like overlooking the Hollywood sign.
Crikey, man.
Going to a film festival in the evenings, it was awesome. And then they had like a red, so that was really cool. I'm still in touch with a few of the people that I met out there. Then I came back, made my second film, Adam, which again is also on Amazon Prime, which was more of a tribute to Bride of Frankenstein.
Oh yes, nice.
Who is one of my favourite characters ever. You see her pop up in all my work, in a lot of my work. In my writing work, she appears in some form. And then after that, I did a lot of screenwriting, and then I kind of started to move last year from screenwriting to writing. Started with kids stuff, and then since then, so I've been writing less than writing, not screenwriting, for less than a year. But so far it's going quite well.
I mean, so I see you've got is the children's ones you're on about, is that the Monster Club?
Yeah, so I've got 3 children's picture books which are released with Red Cape Publishing.
Oh yes, they're down the road from me.
Oh, okay.
They're down round the corner in Littlehampton. Yeah. So
Peter and that did 3 children's books. They're more picture based. Do I have one right here? I do.
Excellent.
Look at this on the bookcase. So I've got The Little Bat That Could.
Oh yes, of course. I've seen Red Cape promoting that. Yes.
Yeah. So I think as well, your friend David Green, our friend.
Yes.
Little boy loves that one. And then I had A Very Zombie Christmas.
Nice.
And then The Mummy Walks at Midnight.
Yes. Yes.
If you know,
I've seen all of those advertised. Yes, and I've seen pictures of David Green's kid Ollie holding one of them. Yes.
Yeah, I think he loves. I think I saw David Green say in a podcast he was doing that his little boy keeps getting bumps on the head thanks to this book. So
nice.
He's trying to fly, not like the little bat. So they're 3 sort of horror for younger sort of audience picture books. And then my new book, which also happens to be here, is The Monster Club.
Excellent.
Which is for your slightly older audience, so sort of from 6 to 12, like proper novel, but I've thrown a few pictures in there as well. Yeah, it's basically about 4 10-year-old girls who live in a town called Ravenwood, which attracts monsters. And they turn up at school one day and find that their teacher, Miss Fay, has disappeared, and in her place is a vampire.
Awesome.
So,
classic. I love it.
Mr. Dracula, or how nice. And so I kind of basically played a little bit of tribute to Dracula in there. So yeah, so basically they need to find out what happened to their teacher and save her. And it's fun.
Have you ever read the I can't remember the writer, I've got it here somewhere, but the Tales from Lovecraft Middle School? No. It's a very similar kind of setup, but instead of like a vampire, it's an eldritch abomination. So
no, I don't know that one.
Yeah, no, I've got a couple of them. Oh well. Yeah, I've got a couple of them. It's really good, but again, they're sort of like for ages 6 to 11 sort of thing. But I love them.
So I've had a few adults read this, and they're like, "Oh my god, I love it." So even the adults and the older kid, and sort of older, have read it. But then my 6-year-old niece has read it, and she's like, "I love it, Auntie Gemma." So her and my sister read it properly, and so she really enjoyed it. So I play a lot of. There's a lot of horror tropes in there, so sort of I kind of wanted to put that fun in there. So if you did have a horror parent reading it to that, with their child, they'll kind of
they'd be going,
what she's done. Nice. But then some of my more original, some original stuff like that. There's a group of bad monsters in there called the Garbage Men, which is my creation of my own, who are a bit fun. But the hope is it will be book 1. The plan is for it to be book 1, and it will just continue as a series, a bit like the Goosebumps series, but the same girls. But each book they have a different monster to fight, basically.
Yeah, sort of like your famous 5 Secret 7 kind of.
Yeah, kind of that kind of.
I love that kind of stuff. That's
Yeah, I think when I was growing up, I had the Goosebumps series, which I read, and all the things like that. But there was nothing sort of on that horror sort of wavelength that was based around little girls doing the fighting.
Yeah,
I think this is where this has come from. This whole idea that the girls can be that there is a boy in it who is part of the Monster Club, but he's very camp.
Excellent.
So he's a very little camp boy. He doesn't really like it, but it's very much he's friends with the girls and he does what they want to do and they look after him. And it's all about the girls really, and them.
Nice.
And each one of them's got their own. You've got Molly, who's the leader, who I've named after my niece. You've got Harley, who loves her weapons, who's named after my dog, surprisingly. My dog's called Harley and my character's called Harley. Then you've got Lana, who's sort of the bookworm, who also who knows all the book knowledge. And then you've got Ivy, who loves sort of hand-to-hand combat. And so each one kind of has their own skills. And
nice.
Then sort of helps, but and they all help each other, and it's a bit of fun. But yeah, I'm quite proud. It's my first full length. It's just under 20,000 words. So it's my first full length, proper, chunky piece of writing. So it's nice. It's certainly something that I'm proud of.
That's a good looking book there. Is that Raven and Drake? It is, isn't it? Yes, I saw it.
Yeah. So I published it through Raven and Drake, but I set up Raven and Drake with a friend of mine. So
yeah, I was just about to get to that. So how did that come about? Because it's Katie.
Kate, yeah. So Katie, but she goes her pen name is Kate.
Right.
So Katie Campbell. We actually went to school together.
All right, because I was going to say, because you couldn't get much further apart in the same country. She's up in Scotland and you're down here.
Yeah, literally, we're completely on the opposite ends of the UK. Yeah. So we actually went to school together, and I didn't talk to anyone that I went to school with for probably 10 years.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, last year, I think it might be the year before, a few people suddenly found me on Facebook, where one then came a couple of others that we used to hang out with and so on. And then, me and Katie just got sort of talking. She was a writer, I was a writer. blah blah blah, and then that was it. And then it all kind of went quiet for a few months, and then I think I can't remember exactly how it happened. We now talk every day. Then I can't, you can't kind of lose track of how it happened. I think she messaged. I think she messaged me about something. I think about Red Cape Publishing. She was like, "Oh, do you mind if I submit to one of their anthologies?" And I was like, "No, go for it, girl. Go for it. Don't even ask, But it was nice that she did. But as far as I've said, do it.
It's a free for all, isn't it? At the end of the day, an open call's an open call, man. Yeah,
exactly. And I'm like, no, go for it. And then from there, I think I started sharing some of the open calls that I found. Most came through David. I think he started sharing some, so I kind of found them through him, and and then we were just back and forth a bit, and then end of last year I was like, let's do something crazy, like come up with our own publishing company and do our own anthologies, because it would be fun, and maybe publish our own books, because I'm a little bit of a, what's the word? The word came to me and now it's gone again. Control freak. There we go.
Right. Yeah.
So I am a control freak. I'm not even going to deny it.
I think you have to be if you're a publisher, to be honest.
Yeah. So for me,
to a degree, I think you have to be. That's why I couldn't do it. I'm too disorganized. I'm like barely organized chaos.
I know. You should see that spreadsheets I've got with things, and so because I'm very like I like to be in control. So and as grateful as I am, and will be continuing to be grateful, and hopefully still publish a few bits with Red Cape.
Yeah.
I wanted to have that element of control for myself.
Yeah.
And it's nothing against them, because they've been great, and so I will still continue to do it. And I have said to them, any picture books like this will still go through them, and etc. Because they've started the series, so they're going to continue the series as and when I get around to it. But yeah, anything sort of else, I'm kind of. But then but I still submit to other people's anthologies, and still trying to support other indie publishers, because it's not just about me and Red Cape, not Red Cape and Raven and Drake. It's about us all. And we still do shout outs to other publishers, and all those still share submissions, and because everyone has different ideas and different anthologies, and
I find it like, because when I came into like trying to get published and stuff, I had no idea that the indie publishing scene was so big, and that there were so many various things. I had no idea. I didn't know what I was doing at all. I just started like, I'll send a story there and see what happens, and then I get invited to a group, and then I meet people, and they say, "Have you checked this out?" And I'll go, "Okay." And then all of a sudden, there's like all these calls, and I'm like a kid in a sweet shop. It's like, ooh.
Exactly the same. The only reason I knew about Red Cape was because Philip Rogers. I don't know if you've seen his name around.
I think I've seen the name. I don't think I know him, but
he works a lot with Red Cape. He sort of does like blog writing, but he contacted me asking me if I wanted to do a little bit of writing, because he knew obviously he's reviewed my films.
Oh, all right, excellent.
So he's reviewed my films on Blazing Minds, because he writes for Blazing Minds. And he knew he knows I was screenwriting, etc. So he messaged me asking me if I wanted to be a part of the charity anthology that Into the Darkness.
Oh yes, I've seen that around. Yeah.
So he messaged me saying, would I like to do a piece for that? So I did, and then I kind of got the writing bug from there. and that was like 100-word drabble, and I started with I did 2 for them actually. I did 1 poem and then 1 drabble, both 100 words. Sent them to Peter. He loved them both, so we put both in. And then I one day came up with I was watching Doctor Who, and I came up with my idea for The Mummy Walks at Midnight.
Awesome.
Wasn't
Pyramids of Mars, was it, when you were watching?
No, there was a mummy on a train.
Oh, Mummy. Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, I think with
Mummy on the Orient Express. Massive Whovian. Complete Doctor Who nerd here. So.
I'm not a massive Doctor Who nerd, and I'm surprised I actually watched that, because it had isn't him in it. Can't think. The only really Doctor Who I've liked is Matt Smith.
Right.
So I tend to know everything about the Matt Smith ones. I'm a bit funny.
To be fair, he's my favourite of the modern ones, but I'm more old school.
Yeah,
I'm a Pat Troughton's my favourite. Patrick Troughton.
Never saw the old school ones.
Yeah.
But then I have watched some of the since because I love River Song, and Alex Kingston is just incredible anyway. And I loved her character and story arc of River Song, when we're completely going away from what I was talking about.
That's what happens on these. Just go with it. It's fine.
So I was watching this episode of Doctor Who. It had a mummy, and I suddenly came up with this idea for my Mummy Walks at Midnight, which is written in prose. Wrote it and sent it to Peter, and he was like, "Yeah, we'd love to take that." And I was like, "Oh, okay, great,
brilliant."
Then I had to work on all the illustrations. Then I wrote the little bat that could, and it basically snowballed from there. And I think, then I think was introduced to David Green. Go David, because of that book, because of the little bat. And then that's when he started then sharing on Facebook, say, some calls, and that's when I started going, like you say, you start going, ooh, what's all these?
Yeah.
But then you become like exactly like you say, a kid in a candy store, and I literally, my list currently of wanting things I want to submit to that aren't Raven and Draco about this big.
Yeah, I'm the same. I have a notebook specifically for open submission calls.
Yeah.
And it sort of lives down the side of the side of the sofa. So it's like, right, I've finished a piece. Get the book out. That one. You know.
Yeah, I've done on a spreadsheet with the dates in date order and of the close date.
Much more organised than me, you see. I'm old school. I get my highlighter pen out.
No, I've got a spreadsheet. And then when I've made submissions, they go onto a separate spreadsheet.
Yeah, mine go into I've got one of those notebooks with like the dividers, project notebooks. So I've got my open subs at the beginning, and then I've got a sub diary.
Yeah.
So I'll put down the date and where I subbed it. So because again, I'm completely scatty. So sort of like I'll go, ooh, I've got a story that could go there. Better check I haven't already sent it out somewhere first. Yeah.
Yeah. But for me at the minute, I don't have any spare stories. It's a matter of I'm actually, besides my own stuff, I'm actually writing to direct calls rather than just writing.
I'm doing more of that now.
Yeah.
When I started, like I say, I didn't know what I was doing, and I just kept writing. I was writing. And I'd written like about 15, 20 pieces before I started submitting.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Just because I was just doing, when I started doing it, I was doing it literally for the sake of my sanity.
Yeah.
Because I'd always been a chef, but I got a spinal condition which took me out, so I can't work, and I was going insane because ever since like I left school, I've worked constantly, and suddenly just stopping was just driving me up the wall. It's just like I need to do something.
You do something to get rid of all this.
Yeah. My brain's just going. It's just So that's how So that's how it happened, really. But
Nice.
Because I've noticed now, Raven and Drake. Because I mean, you've put your book out, and then there's a couple of things by Kate. But I've noticed now you've opened it up for calls now. Like you've got a few anthologies, haven't you, or something? Yeah.
So we're there's at the minute we've only got the one book out, which is my Monster Club book.
Right. Yeah.
Katie will hopefully have another children's book later this year. The illustrations are being worked on at the moment. I'm hoping to have my other children's book out, Winnie and Zeus, the zombie dog.
Nice.
But I haven't even started.
Can't go wrong with a zombie pet.
And it's a greyhound, so I based it on my Jimmy. So pretty cool. But I do all my own.
One of the best things I ever read. I'm in an anthology called Unleashed from Emerald Bay Books, and there's a story in it about a zombie hamster.
Oh my god. Well, this one should be quite fun because it's again, it's for sort of 5-6 year olds. It's again, I'm hoping it'll be a series with it's based on Winnie, and who's like a 10-year-old witch, and her zombie dog Zeus, and they go camping and basically get stalked by a werewolf. But it all turns out into good, into happy. And
I'm loving this because this is the sort of stuff that if I was a kid, I would be going, yes.
Yeah. Exactly. That's why I kind of write the kids stuff as if I was a kid, or if I had children. I mean, I don't want children. My dogs are my children. But if I had kids, like I said, I've got a niece and a nephew, and luckily I'm kind of pushing the scary side onto my niece. I don't know how happy my sister is about that because she's not a horror fan whatsoever. But
I'm corrupting your child.
It is literally like I'm the auntie. I get to do what I want.
You're the cool auntie, aren't you?
I am the cool auntie with the dogs who gets to have fun and she loves to read. So she's only 6, Molly, but she loves to read and she's an avid reader. She's actually a really good reader. And she likes to write, so yeah, I think she loves to read my stuff, and I keep pushing things towards her and the fantasy stuff. So, and when I have bought her books in the past, they've all been sort of, I think there's a little kids series about a girl vampire. I can't remember the name of it now.
Oh, yeah.
So all that kind of stuff I kind of buy, and regardless of what my sister says. Like, yeah, your daughter's going to read the vampire things, because they're the stuff that say if I had kids or if I was that age, I would want to read. So because that's I mean, I grew up watching Nightmare Before Christmas. That was from like this big. That was my favorite movie, and kind of still is. And
Nice.
So if as a kid, if your favorite movie is The Nightmare Before Christmas, you kind of know what direction you're going in when you grow up.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the thing is, I kind of jumped straight over all that kind of stuff because I was basically raised on Hammer horror, and I developed a taste for because I spent a lot of time with my grandparents growing up, and they were members of Reader's Digest, so they had all these like books, and I grew up reading collections of Edgar Allan Poe and things like this. Nice. And I had a cool aunt, right, who introduced me to Stephen King and Ramsey Campbell.
Good old cool aunt.
Yeah. It was like, oh, he likes horror, doesn't he? Here you go. So there you go. And it was from there, it was into the Lovecraft, and that never looked back. That's why I'm kind of obsessed with tentacles. Pretty much. I blame Rosemary. It's all Rosemary's fault.
You say that because it's quite funny, because I didn't know that about you until recently. But surprisingly, tentacles appears in a few of my works, and now I feel like, damn it, I can't have them in there because now it looks like copying Tim.
Oh no! Tentacles everywhere. More tentacles for everyone.
You're part of my 13 Rooms project, aren't you?
Yes.
So in there, because of course my character is tentacle based one, my creature, and I'm like, he's gonna think I've stolen his creature, but I wrote the scripts like over a year ago.
Oh yeah, no, not at all. I was just like, yes.
that script has been written like over a year ago, and that my creature in that book will be the creature that was in the script.
Perfect.
So I do have a little bit of that. I wasn't introduced to horror besides kids horror. Well, like say The Nightmare Before Christmas and Goosebumps, but apart from that, my family aren't horror people. They're not. Really.
My granddad was massive, like into the Hammer horror and Carry On films. Which, if you read any of my stuff, it's basically Hammer horror meets a Carry On film.
I love Carry On Screaming, because who doesn't?
Yeah, who doesn't?
Who doesn't love?
Awesome.
Who can't love a Carry On Screaming? But
when I actually Fenella Fielding, the pub that I used to work in here in Brighton, it's sort of goth pub down here, and I swear I do a lot of my club nights and things like that. And Fenella Fielding started coming in every Wednesday afternoon. It was not long before she died, but she'd come in. She was always in like a fur coat and the hat, and she'd come in and she'd get a brandy and bitter lemon, and she'd go and sit outside with a cigarette and a cigarette holder. And the first few times, like me and the manager, who's a big Carry On fan as well, Pete, we were just like, is that Fenella Fielding? It's like, I know one time I'd gone out and I still smoked, but at that point, like not just the this. I actually smoked ciggies, and I went out, and I had left my lighter inside, so I was like, "Can I excuse me, can I borrow a lighter?" And he goes, "Yes, you can, darling." I was like, went back, and it is his vanilla feeling. That voice, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You're like, that's the moment of my life right there.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. Yeah. I actually project Carry On Screaming over some of my club nights. So you actually get the projector and the smoke and everything and project it into the. Yeah.
I'm not a massive Carry On fan generally. I'm not a massive
I am.
fan,
I love them.
yeah, but Carry On Screaming is.
Yeah, it's just a genius, isn't it? It's
yeah.
just. Yeah.
You know, do you mind if I smoke? And you should just
Yeah.
start.
Yeah.
I was trying to quit or whatever the line is or something. But yeah, that's a stroke of genius. But so my parents didn't. They're not that people. They're not. They're not massive movie people, and they're not massive. They're not art people. They're not writing people. You know, my dad's business is business.
Right. Yeah.
Property and.
Not fair enough. You know. Yeah. Whatever floats your boat, innit? You know.
Yeah, exactly. But so I work. I mean, I do still do some work for him now because you've got to pay the bills. Yeah. But I do it all from home, so it's fine. So I never had. So I always feel like I kind of was the outsider in the family. So I never pushed it as much because. Don't get me wrong. This is going to sound bad, but they. Probably, particularly when I was younger, they weren't probably as supportive because to them it wasn't a career or somewhere where I could go, or it wasn't because to them it wasn't within their mindset.
Yeah, I mean that's not them. Not it's not them not caring. It's just
no, it's just
different ways of thinking, isn't it?
Yeah, they just didn't seem to understand and couldn't see how I could make it a living. But obviously, then I got to a point in my life where I was so depressed. I mean, I was so depressed I nearly committed suicide. My parents know about that, so hence otherwise I wouldn't talk about it. But
yeah.
You know, I got to that point where, and most people know who were close to me, and I don't shut away from it because it was what happened. I didn't, but I could have done. And then from there,
I've been in a very similar state. I had a full breakdown a while ago. I've got bipolar, so and I had a real meltdown. Yeah,
it's a horrible place to get to suddenly.
Oh, it is. It's like it's really what I find strange is trying to explain it to people because I can't. I don't know how to.
Yeah, you can explain it as much as you can. I mean, it happened again last year. Actually, I got to that point again.
Yeah.
Just the one thing after another, and I got to that point. And
yeah.
That's the thing that stopped me then was my dogs. I was like, no, I got my dogs, and I'm not going to leave them. Who would have them? Who would love them as much as I do, and etc. Because I love them to pieces.
That's brilliant. Yeah.
But yeah, so my
brilliant.
Dogs stop me. But when you try to explain, someone says, "But you have everything." I'm like, you have a nice house, and like it doesn't work that way.
No, it really doesn't. No.
It is hard to explain unless you've been there. It is hard to explain to someone how you get there. But so from that first time of hitting rock bottom, they kind of then when I was like, okay, I want to go back to my film roots because I did that in college when I was 18, do makeup artistry, and by then I'd had saved up a bit of money, so I think they became a bit more supportive then.
Yes,
they kind of see that what I was doing was killing me.
If if what you're doing isn't making you happy, you've got to change it, haven't you?
Yeah,
it's as simple as that. If what it's like Einstein's definition of madness. Madness is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
Yeah.
So if you're doing the same thing and it's just not making you happy, you've got to change.
That was exactly what it was, yeah. And then I did, and things have developed from there. And this is why they ended up paying for me to go to LA with my first film, because it was like, wow, okay, maybe she, there's something there. So yeah, and then so now I still have to do a bit of my dad's work because they say we've still got to pay the bills.
Yeah, everybody's got to pay the bills. Yeah.
So it's not quite what I want to do, but it's easy work. I do it from home, and it doesn't take up all my month. So it usually takes up a couple of days, and then I've got the rest of the month to do my stuff, which is now where Raven and Drake's coming in, and my stories and my writing and all that sort of stuff. And that now is what's making me happy. The writing is actually making me happier than the film did now. I got into
because when I like, I've always written when I was younger, but I never considered doing it seriously. I mean, and music was more my thing, and but I think if you're a creative person, not using that creativity drives you up the fucking wall. I think.
If that's in you, you've got to get it out in some way. I'm saying writing, and I mean I can. I say I'm a new writer. It's I'm not denying it. I've been writing less than a year in But I mean, I can already see. I think I wrote something a couple months ago, and then I went to edit it for something. I was like, oh my god, this is a pile of shit.
Oh god, yeah. Oh yeah, do that all the time. It's like all the time.
How you can come in such a short space of time.
Yeah. I was the same because I've not been going that long. I mean, I had my first published work at the end of 2019, like December.
Yeah.
So it was only really last year.
Yeah.
Really. And I read. It's like the other day I read something that I'd written. And it wasn't even that long ago. It was only like September or October. And I was like, that's clumsy. That's clumsy. That's clumsy. You've used the same word too many times in the same paragraph. What are you doing?
I read that one. I read the same word 3 times in the same sentence. I'm like, seriously?
What are you doing? Yeah.
So it's seeing how far I've come. So my mum reads most of my stuff, even though some of the stuff isn't her bag, especially some of my more adult horror stories. And even she was like the other day, oh my god, you've come so much far. That is so much more well written than, even though it's not my bag, that is so much more well written than that, which was more my bag that you wrote.
My partner's the same. I use her as my beta reader.
Yeah.
Because she's actually got a master's in English. But and her thing is she's into fantasy. She likes all the swords and dragons and all that kind of business. So she's not. She certainly wasn't into cosmic horror. But now she's actually getting into it because she's constantly getting bombarded with like Cthulhu. I
sent something to my mum the other day that even I wasn't sure I should send to my mum, because it's actually for my New Tales of Old with Raven and Drake. I rewrote what one of mine was a retelling of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Nice.
Let's just say one of the lines is like 7 little perverts with 7 little peckers and 7 little tents. And you can kind of see from where that is where I was going with it.
I can see where you were going with that. Yeah.
It's set in a strip club in the middle of LA. So
that's brilliant. I'm reading that. I'm reading that one.
Yeah, there's literally, I think the line is literally 7 little perverts with 7 little peckers with 7 little tents, and by little I mean little. I'm pretty sure that was the line, something on that. And so I was like, yeah, okay. So I've just written about 7 little perverts turning the dwarfs into them, and I've given them all new nicknames as well, by the way. So that's kind of
awesome.
I'm not going to spoil any of them.
No, don't. No spoilers.
Yeah, so I was like,
that sounds like the sort of story I need to enjoy.
I was like, shall I send this to my mum to prove? I did send it to my mum.
Wholesome family entertainment.
She's not really surprised by much from me anymore. So
no.
Bearing in mind, when I turned 30, I had no, and I left my job and changed everything. I had no tattoos, and I certainly didn't have shaved head. So in 3 years, I completely, and as you can see, I've got a whole sleeve. I've got half my back done.
Yeah.
This has got bits on, half my thighs done. So funky smoking.
Oh, maybe. Cool. Nice.
So I'm actually now like shaved purple head, tattoos everywhere. So she kind of isn't surprised by anything now.
My family never surprised. I've kind of looked at pretty much exactly the same since I was about 15. I just haven't changed a few pounds, you know. I put on weight. My hair underneath all this dye is going grey. Apart from that, I'm pretty much exactly the same. So then nothing surprises them with me.
Oh, you should say, if I sent you a picture of when my sister got married about 9 years ago, people will be like, "That's not you," and I'm like, "Yeah, it is." Afraid
Nice.
so. Like, "That's not you," and I'm like, "It really is." My 30 midlife crisis was a real 30 midlife crisis.
Yeah. Well, it's just letting what was inside out, I think. Because I mean, you always had. Because I mean, it's like I've seen people I went to school with, and they were really straight laced, and then they went through the same situation. Then you got Mohicans, and they're really happy because it's like finally, I think it's always in there. You've just got to let it out,
I think when I started getting my sleeve was one of the first things I got after a couple. I literally had a couple of small pieces, and then I went smack bang in with the sleeve, and I knew it was going to be a sleeve, so it was designed. It is designed to be one piece, rather than just piecing things together.
Yes.
And so when I started getting that, I think my mum told me one day that my sister went to her and said, "Well, why is Gemma doing this? Why is she suddenly getting all these tattoos?" And then I think I had a little bit of shave by then, and mum says, I turned around and said to your sister, "I think she's finally becoming the person she always wanted to be on the inside."
Yeah.
So, but the fact, I think I cried when my mum told me that, because it was like,
that's really cool. Yeah. She gets it. She gets it, man.
I didn't need to explain. She just.
Yeah, she just got it.
Yeah, I think my nan, I mean, to be fair, my nan got a tattoo before I did. So my nan's got a tattoo on her. She was, I think it was her 70th birthday, she got a tattoo.
Good on her.
I was supposed to have one done at the same time, but I chickened out at the time.
No, good on her, man.
So even though she's very much like, I don't know why you've got so many, but you're you and you're Gemma, so whatever. So it's nice that people, even though when you go a bit crazy, people kind of get it, and it was nice that my mum was kind of like, she's becoming who she should have been. I think.
Well, I think that's important.
At bottom to get there.
Yeah. It happens a lot to people, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's like because I think a lot of people try and be what they're expected to be rather than what they actually want to be, and I think that's a shame, a real shame. And you see it a lot when in like sexuality as well. You get a lot of that, and it's the most destructive thing in the world, trying to conform to what you think everybody else wants you to do. It is, and it's partly. I mean, I know we're in the 21st century, and it's now 2021 or whatever century we're in. I don't know, but it's we're in 2021, and things should be better than they are, but they're not. Yes.
And in some ways,
I tell you what, it shocks the hell out of me that we've still got problems that we do. I'm like, seriously, it's like, we've not dealt with all this shit yet.
I mean, I had some. I walk my dogs at the same place up on the heath behind my house every morning, and I bump into a couple of old ladies there, and by old I mean like 70s, 80s, like old. They're always walking the dogs, and I'm chatting to them away and all that sort of stuff. And I do get looks I do get some looks from people passing, particularly in the summer, like, "Oh my God, are those old ladies okay?" Because they're talking to someone full of tattoos and a shaved head. But, it's like, but I'm like, whatever. But these older ladies know, they love seeing me and the dogs and all this sort of stuff. But then one of them recently told me there's a guy up there who I see occasionally walking his dog. We walked and chat, and he's a black guy.
Yep.
He's lovely as anything, but apparently, this one of the old ladies had someone go up to her and said, "Oh, don't walk over there. There's a black guy walking that way."
What?
And I'm
Oh,
like,
come on.
seriously? And the old lady calls this guy, I don't know, I can't remember his name. I'm terrible at remembering people's names. But the old lady that I speak to, she regards him as a son. So this other lady was talking to completely the wrong person.
Nice.
So she was
Nice.
like, "Oh, what's being my son?" And apparently this woman just went white, like white, like
Yeah. Oh, brilliant.
And I was like,
I love it when bigots get fucked over. I really do. It's great.
I know, but it's just like, why are we living in a world when comments happen?
It's
like
madness, isn't it? It's just insanity. I just don't understand. I never have.
No,
I've
I
never
don't.
understood it.
I mean, to be fair, the issues I have with people are usually middle-aged white guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not. I'm very much. If I have an issue with you, it's because you're an arsehole.
That is my motto, right?
Yeah.
I don't care who you are, where you come from.
Yeah.
It's like, but if you're an arsehole, then I'm going to treat you like you're an arsehole. It's as simple as that.
There's one a guy I bumped into, middle-aged white guy up on the heath. So bearing in mind, I do bump into a lot of middle-aged white guys who are lovely.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
But this is the point, isn't it? It's like there's arseholes in every single group, in every group, every race, every colour, every religion. There's great people, and then there's wankers.
And then there's but this particular wanker, he walked past me and went, "Can you put your dog on the lead?" I was like, "No, he's literally just stood there."
Yeah.
Jimmy just stood in the middle of the path. He has a habit of standing in the middle of the path. But apart from that, he literally likes to stand in the middle of the path and he won't get out your way. But he's not vicious. He wasn't barking. He was just literally stood there like, "Mum, are we moving?" And I'm like, "No, he's fine. You can pass him. He'll just look at you." And he goes, "No, put your dog on the lead." And I went, "No, he's fine." And he goes, "I've read in a book, greyhounds are dangerous, so put him on a lead." At that point, I rolled my eyes at him.
Yeah. I've never heard of a bloody dangerous greyhound. I'm sorry,
That's
I haven't.
exactly it. We were like, I rang my mum, so I was actually in fits of laughter, ringing my mum, going, "Someone just told me in a book that they've read in a book that greyhounds are dangerous." She's like, "Well, what book have they been reading?"
Yeah.
And everyone's like,
I admit I'm not the biggest fan of dogs because I was when I was a kid I was knocked over by a whacking great German Shepherd, Alsatian, sorry. I was knocked over by one, so I'm just generally a bit nervous. I think they're pretty and all the rest of it. I'm just generally a bit timid.
Yeah.
But like I say, my family have always had whippets, and they're the soppiest bloody things.
They are.
Like you sit there in front of the telly and you'll end up with a head just in your lap like that.
Yeah.
It's there though.
Well, both of mine abandoned me in the evening, and they are literally sleeping on my bed in the bedroom. So they that's where they are right now. But they'll be there until morning. But yeah, they're not known for being a dangerous breed. Sighthounds are.
I've always thought they're really placid.
I know, but then now every time, luckily, I think he's changed when he walked his dogs and he had a bloody husky.
Right.
If any dog is known for being aggressive, it's a freaking husky.
Yeah.
So it's like, seriously, dude.
Well, it's almost a wolf, let's face it.
I love wolves, but the hell.
Oh yeah, but greyhound.
Exactly. If any dog's going to be called aggressive, it's going to be a husky. And so I was like, but 3 times I passed him, and every time he got aggressive with me and told me to put my dog on a lead. And I was like, no, because he doesn't need to be on a lead. I am a responsible owner, and there are times when they do go on leads because they can.
Yes. I mean, I like if you're walking down the pavement with them or whatever, or because again, you don't want them going the road, do you?
No,
so,
there's a place I walk them sometimes that they have a bit of a cat issue. So, and there's a cat that goes there, so I will keep them on the lead because I know that if they see the cat, they will go berserk and chase it. And
it's a greyhound, a cat or a rabbit.
Yeah. We do have a squirrel type issue, but they're not too bad on that. but it's the cats. Like, seriously, my whippet sounds like something from The Exorcist when she sees a cat. I am not joking. If you heard her, you'd be like, "What the hell is that? Why is there like
that?"
Someone?" She literally sounds like something from The Exorcist when she sees a cat. It's bizarre.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Absolutely, it's the other than that, she doesn't make a noise.
Right.
You know, she bark. You know, if someone comes to the door, she doesn't bark. Nothing. My dogs just sometimes will look at the door and go, "Mum, there's someone at the door." They won't even like run to the door.
Yeah, just sort of like.
Yeah. Unless they think it's my mum, and then they get excited.
I was talking to somebody else about this the other night. It's like it's generally not the big dogs that do. It's them little fucking Yorkshire Terriers. Oh, my best friend growing up, right, Steve, his mum had a Yorkshire Terrier named Kimber. That little fucker hated me. Seriously, every time I went for the door, straight for the ankles.
I have a few people say to me again with the greyhound because he's an ex-racer.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So if a little dog is approaching, they'll say, "Oh, can you hold your greyhound or put him on a lead because of my little dog?" And I'm like, seriously, you don't need to. I said, he's actually fine. If I said he's actually scared of little dogs because he's had quite a few chihuahuas go for his ankles.
Yeah. The thing is, their legs are actually quite delicate, aren't they?
Yeah.
Especially when they get older.
Yeah.
When they get older. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's 6. He retired when he was 4 because of an injury to his leg. So I've actually got him on some herbal tablets because he was limping really badly in the winter last month. Well,
yeah.
December.
Yeah, because they're prone to things like arthritis and stuff like that, aren't they?
Yeah, so he actually has, even though he's 6, he has arthritis in his leg because of a break from his injury. And in the cold and wet, he just limps really badly on it. So I've now got him on some herbal tablets. But the amount of times I've been to the vets with him because he's been running around and his legs have just got ripped to shreds because I say they're so sensitive. So he's terrified of little chihuahuas. He ain't going to eat one.
No. Yeah, no.
And he will literally do the biggest circle to try and avoid them. And so but it's also quite funny because if I've had some owners get a little bit like, "No, can you?" and I'm like, "No," because he's not going to do anything.
And your dog goes, "No, I'm out of here."
And literally, and I'm like, and then they kind of have this sort of slight guilty look on their face, and I'm like, "Yeah, go Jimmy, go Jimmy." If I thought he would attack them, I said, I'm a owner, he would get grabbed. I said, I
think that's the key, isn't it? You've got to be responsible.
Yeah, and you've got to know your dog. I don't know how we went from women in horror to dogs, but say you've got to know your dog.
It's after hours. Just go for it. Doesn't matter.
So I know when my dogs are going to react and when they won't. Like the other day, there was a husky zooming around, so I grabbed hold of Jimmy because he was attacked by something similar last year. So I know that he can be a bit funny. So I grabbed him until we passed.
Yeah, of
but
course.
With a little bit, with something tiny, he's going to go in the opposite direction. He's going to, I know him. I've had him 2 years now. I know him. I know my dog. So it's unfortunately the people who don't know their dogs.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? It's the problem is the irresponsible owners that get every dog owner tarred with the same brush.
Yeah.
These fuckwits with the pit bulls and all that. And the dogs are badly treated, so they're pissed off.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it.
A happy dog doesn't attack things.
No, I mean, the dog that attacked Jimmy last year was like an Akita mix breed.
Right.
Yeah, she just came out of nowhere, and Jimmy was on the lead. He was on the lead at the time, quite a short lead, because we were in a place where they couldn't go off, and this dog just came out of the bush and attacked him.
Christ.
Next time I saw this guy, I said to him, "Would you mind just keeping your dog away from mine?" Bear in mind, Jimmy came on the lead, and the guy started verbally abusing me. He just went off on me. "My fucking dog isn't your all these swear words under the sun, blah blah." I just kept on walking. Third time I saw him, I actually now can't do one of my walks because of him. He started following me and recording me through Bournemouth Gardens, trying to entice me, trying to trap me, and I actually had to go. I had to ring my dad because he was following me and get my dad to come pick me and the dogs up. And I did put a police report out on him, but
unbelievable.
I have bumped into people and quite a few people when I've explained, particularly once it happened, because Jimmy got aggressive with a lot of dogs because of it. So he was very on defence.
Yeah, on the defence. Yeah, he was scared.
Yeah, exactly it. So he had to be on the lead for quite a while after that. So again, most owners, when you say apologies, can you just he was attacked, which is why he's
Yeah.
And of course, particularly most dog owners, they want to know who and what attacked him, so they can be on the aware. And everyone around here, they know the guy, they know the dog. And I actually know a couple of people who have said they've seen the guy hitting his dog with a metal chain.
And that's why, yeah.
And that's
well, again,
why.
this is what we're saying about like it's scared.
Yeah.
When dogs are scared, dogs attack.
Yeah.
The dog is scared of its master, it's going to attack all the bloody time.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And yet this guy goes around going, "It's not my fucking dog." I'm like, "Yes, it is your dog because it's you." But the really funny thing was, it turns out that my hairdresser, so I when he was following me through the gardens, I turned and took a picture of him. So I got a picture of him. So I sent that to the police. So at least the police have it. Not that they can do anything, but at least they're aware. But I plastered it.
No, but if anything happens again,
yeah, you know, I plastered it over Facebook, and it turns out my hairdresser knows him. My hairdresser is very hippy dippy. And she knows him because he goes to some of the meditation and sound wave things that she goes to. And I'm like, okay, he needs to do a bit more.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I mean, she found it hilarious because she's like, if he happens again, you know, she doesn't like know, you know, she knows who he is.
Yeah.
She's not like friends with him, so she's like, if it happens again or you see him, just let me know because I know his name and I can lead to him. But she knows him through all these meditation and sound hippy dippy things. I would be like, okay, he needs to do a few more because he's a bit on the tense side.
He's obviously not doing it right.
He's not. He's very, very tense. Very tense.
Oh, what a bellend.
I did actually say that. I did say to quite a few people, if I bumped into the guy on the heath who called Jimmy vicious because he read in a book, I did say if I ever saw him again, I was going to tell him to go have a wank. So release some of the tension.
Yeah.
So because I think that's what he needs to do, and I think there's a few men out there that
go and loosen your nuts up a bit, mate.
Yeah, go lose some tension or go do something because you're way too highly strung right now.
Yeah. I'd love to know what book he read that out of. I really would.
I would really love to know what book, because everything you read, greyhounds come in the top 10 list of like calm dogs.
Yeah. This is it. I mean, this is why I'd never, like I say, because I've you know, I'm always a bit wary of bigger dogs. But I've never had a single problem. I'm always calm as hell around them. You know.
I mean, Jimmy did go up to a girl the other day. You could tell by her body language was petrified.
Yes.
But what Jimmy does is because he senses the fear, he wants to go say hi. So it's his way of trying to go, We're not all
assholes.
Yeah. He loves to lean against people, which is a typical greyhound thing.
Yes, it is. Yes. Yeah. It was really funny because my uncle, he always had one furry leg. No matter what pair of trousers he was wearing, he always had one furry leg.
It's the greyhound lean.
The whippet was leaning on him.
Yeah, it's this greyhound lean. Yeah, they do that, and Jimmy does that. And he literally, you know. And he literally comes up to my, I mean, I'm quite tall. I'm like 5'10" when I stand up. Obviously sat down right now, so a bit tiny. But, you know, he comes up to, you know, nearly my waist. He's a tall boy. And he's constantly, and sometimes he will put like your whole weight against you. I mean, he actually leant against some random stranger the other afternoon. He's like, oh, I think I like the look of you. I'm going to lean against you. And this woman was like, I've got a dog leaning. She likes dogs, so she was fine with it.
Yeah,
she's like, oh, dog leaning against me. But so Jimmy, he will go up to strangers if they say, and this girl you could tell was literally petrified. And he was literally stood in front of her, and she was like, oh. But I have that with if I pass some kids sometimes, they like try to run, and I always try to say to them. Luckily, most parents try to say the same things. I just said, don't run, just stay still.
Yeah, don't run.
They'll go past you. They're fine with kids.
Yeah.
But I always say to them, if you run, the little one, my little whippet, will think that you want to play.
Yeah, well, that was always the first thing I was taught. Well, like, after, like, the thing is, my granddad was just like, right, don't run, never run, because they think you're playing.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, and same. My whippet's 2, so she's still got that slight.
Oh, right. It's like still a bit skittish.
Yeah, and she's still got that slight puppiness sometimes too,
Yeah,
especially.
I was going to say it's still got the Bambi legs going on.
Oh yeah,
Stop bouncing about.
yeah. And she was the runt of the litter as well. So she's
Right.
small for most whippets in height. She's stocky, but I think there's something wrong with her legs because the legs do click out sometimes. The back legs, I have to click them back in, which is lovely. Luckily, it doesn't happen so much as she's getting older, but because of it, so I don't think her gait is right. And when she runs at this weird angle. Me and Mum, and when I was
a dog that runs like a crab.
It's hilarious. So I walk with my mum a lot because they live like a couple of roads away. So I see my mum a couple of times a week, so we're always walking the dogs. And when she does go off, it's hilarious, and we both go, "Look, there she is, off on an angle, off on an angle." So I think there's something off with her, but yeah. So she does have, and she does the little girl pranks. So she's really, particularly her front legs are very, very prancy.
Right.
But yeah, if she thinks that someone's playing, she'll be straight in there.
Yeah.
With kids and all sorts. So I do say, just stand still. And they will pass. If a kid is scared, but they are fine with kids. So they're as gentle as anything. But yeah. So that's my dogs.
Indeed. Yeah. Well, I'm just saying that, it's just nice to hear somebody like a dog owner who like, you obviously are a responsible owner.
Yeah.
Because all you hear on the news is the irresponsible ones. You don't hear about the people who, it's, some people shouldn't be allowed pets.
Oh, some people shouldn't. No.
Some people shouldn't be allowed breathing privileges, let's face it. So some people should have their breathing rights revoked. I've always had this theory as well, but like pubs. You have your driving license. You should get your pub license when you turn 18, and you get black marks on it every time you're a knob. It's like, nope, you're banned.
I do sometimes think that you should have a license to be able to have a pet.
Yeah.
Because there's too many that don't treat them well, and
no.
Too many. I mean, I'm home all the time, so my dogs, they constantly have someone, and I ended up getting my second one, my whippet, because of the issues my greyhound had. So I got a second because he couldn't be left. If I did have to go out, he couldn't be left on his own.
Yeah.
So getting.
Also, I always think with animals, it's nice to have. It's like my mother is a bird person. She always has parrots.
Yeah.
And her theory is she always has to have a companion bird for the parrot. It's like, so you often get like a parakeet or something as a companion bird, because parrots, they'll spend a lot of time with you, but they have to remember that they're birds sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, because talk to you, and then it's proper bird talk time.
I know quite a few people who at the minute have a dog, and they're actually about to get a second because they're like, I think my dog just needs that companion. And Jimmy, he was. I mean, obviously he had issues anyway with being an ex-racer, and they come with their own problems.
Of course. Yeah.
So that you have to take time to get through. But having the second one helped him. But the amount of people, again, that I know or have heard, and they'll be out at work all day. Their dog will be left alone in the house, not even going out for a wee and all this sort of stuff. I'm like, that's not a life for a dog.
No.
It's like, unless you're going to be home most of the day. Dogs, they like I say,
it's like cats, right? Cats are fine because they'll go off and be cats when you're not around. I mean, I love cats, and I just love the fact that they will just like, I'm bored of this, I'm going to go climb something or do something, or just, they're very independent.
Cartoons, don't you? Cats versus dogs, and the dogs are all like, "Mummy," and the cats are all like, "Leave me alone."
Yeah.
That whole
Yeah. Cat's like, nah, I can't be asked with you today.
Yeah. Are you stroking me for? Leave me alone.
Yeah, leave me alone. I'm trying to sleep.
I want to spend every second of the day with you.
Yeah. Cat's like, leave me alone. I need some me time.
Yeah. Cats versus dogs. So I'm personally not a cat person. I've got nothing against them.
No. I mean, but I think most people are either one or the other.
Yeah.
And I'm a cat person. You're obviously a dog person. You know, I mean, horses for courses, isn't it?
So my ex-boyfriend had cats.
Yep.
And he didn't help because they used to, whenever I used to stay at his, they used to jump on the pillow in the middle of the night and drink out my water on the side of the. So I think I've just kind of got bad things from that. And I'm like, stop waking me up in the middle of the night. But now I have my dog who jumps on the bed in the middle of the night. So, who usually scratches at the top to like lift up, and she's underneath and she actually pries my legs apart. My whippet. She will pry my legs apart so she can lie in between them.
Curl up in the middle. Yeah.
But so I kind of got put off cats.
We had a cat that in bed, in a double bed, the cat would come in the middle and lie and then slowly stretch in both directions. So both of us were right on the edge of both side of the bed. There's a cat diagonally across the middle of it.
Sounds like my Harley, and just with me. She would literally go as close to me as possible, and I'm hanging off the end. And Harley's the little one. And she's actually there, like in the middle of the bed with her legs out like this. And sometimes her legs are pointing towards me, and they push.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You get any less off the bed right now if you tried, Harley.
What's the cat doing? Get out.
Look, you let them get away with it.
Yeah.
It's something, and you just kind of go, okay, you're cute. So I'm gonna let you get away with it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, it's adorable. Sod it.
Yeah. I woke up this morning I was being glared at this morning when I woke up. So this is the look that was waiting me when I woke up this morning. That's
a look of disapproval.
So yeah, that's the look that I woke up to. You know, you wake up and it's like, okay, Harley, right, thanks.
Was that you're late with my breakfast, woman?
Mum, it's time to get up. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. We need walks. Yeah, no, she's a good girl. And then
Excellent. Right, stop wrapping this up in a minute. Before
we're talking way too long about dogs.
Oh no, sorry, it's cool. Before we do that, just tell us a little bit about what Raven and Drake have got coming up.
So Raven and Drake, we have lots coming up.
I went on your submissions page the other day. And
you haven't submitted to us yet.
No, I haven't. To be absolutely honest, I didn't know about Raven and Drake until like about a week ago or something.
I've been posting nearly every day on my Facebook. Oh, you're rubbish.
I'm rubbish. Yeah, there you go. I'm rubbish.
So Raven and Drake, we've got lots of open calls. We've got four open calls at the moment, with another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 planned later on in the year. So we've got lots on.
Nice.
They're all on our website, I think minus one, which I need to put on with the open submission dates. But basically, so the 4 we've got open, we've got April Horrors, which is 100-word drabbles.
That's me out.
Drabbles are great fun.
I don't do drabbles.
I like drabbles.
Drabbles make my head hurt. David Green nearly killed me. He made me do 5 of them. He knows I don't do drabbles.
5 for us. But basically, think April Fool's prank's gone wrong with a horror twist. So that's kind of a bit fun.
That's kind of cool, yeah.
Yeah, it's April, so it's like thinking of April Fool.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
I've done my 5. 3 of mine are called Hitchcock Style. Hitchcock Style Volume 2, Hitchcock Style Volume 3.
Love it.
So I went to the Master of Suspense for 3 of mine.
And why not? No better place to go. Yeah.
Exactly. So no one's stealing them because they're already done. So that closes on the 14th of January. Up to 5 drabbles accepted per person, so get some in. We have New Tales of Old.
14th of January?
did I say January?
You said January.
I don't know what month we're in. February, yay! Valentine's Day.
There you go.
February, yes, February. 14th of whatever month we're in, we're closed.
Yeah.
We have New Tales of Old, which is open to all genres, which anything from 100 up to 2,000 words, up to 2 accepted per person, but that's basically taking a folklore or a fairy tale and putting your own spin on it. Hence my Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs fun version.
Yeah, I was while we were sitting here talking, I was having an idea about that. So you might see me enter that one.
Nice. Just don't. We're no longer accepting Snow White, Cinderella.
Oh no, yeah. Mine will be
Goldilocks and the Three Bears and Red Riding Hood. Only because we've had a number in of those.
Yeah. Oh, mine will be one of the more obscure ones anyway.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. So it's like there's only so many, Snow White.
Of course, stories. Yeah. You don't want an anthology just full of Goldilocks, do you?
Yeah.
You've got to have a bit of variety.
We actually opened a second one because of the amount of Red Riding Hood stories we had. So we've opened up New Tales of Old Volume 2, but based on each story needs to be based on a Red Riding Hood or wolf-based fairy tale.
Oh yes, yeah. I saw that.
So, yeah, because apparently it's popular, and everyone was submitting Red Riding Hood stories, and I actually had one written myself that I then had to not do because everyone was submitting Red Riding Hood. So we thought, okay, let's open a new one with that, seeing as it's popular. Yeah. And then we've also got a charity one, which we're quite excited about. So it was called...
Oh yeah, I saw that come up on your Facebook.
Yeah, that's
because you got the is it brain tumor?
The brain tumor charity, yeah. So I spoke to the brain tumor charity the other day. So a proper agreement will be in place between us and them. So it's like 100% limit. And as part of that, they're then going to provide us with an in aid of logo for the cover. So of course all proceeds for that will be going to the brain tumor charity.
That's awesome.
That one is sort of family friendly stories, but thinking sort of
candy cake, like, is it sweets and candy and stuff?
So everything's got to be sort of candy based, sort of, think crazy, but just family friendly. We've had a few that have sort of
that's probably me out then. I tried to do one for a children's anthology once. No.
we have had one that's really good actually. That sort of touches on the horror elements. With a haunted gingerbread house.
Oh, nice.
But, it keeps it family friendly enough that it's not, and it's actually that was really, I love that story. It was really good. So we accepted that today. So but because it's a charity anthology, we didn't want to let it be horror and then limit your audience, because obviously the idea is we want to try and raise as much money as we can for charity.
Of course, yeah.
So my voice is going, I can feel it, and I haven't talked so much in ages.
So I'm gonna have to wrap this up in a minute anyway. So
so that one is that's open till early April, but we're doing that because I've got my cousin has a brain tumor.
Right.
So I think it's the third time it's back, and she's only 30, so she's younger than me.
Bloody hell.
Third time it's back. She was originally diagnosed when she was 27, but the NHS can't help anymore.
Oh Christ.
So she's actually trying to raise funds on a GoFundMe page to get treatment in Germany. She's had her first lot of treatment in Germany.
Right.
Something to do with the blood. They can
yes,
take it out, put something in and put it back in. I don't know the full science, but because of that, we decided to set up the charity.
Why not? That's great. It's a great cause, man. It really is.
So I think when you've got someone who in the family who's sort of been, I think, and Katie
especially,
family members with cancer, and so it's just something that we decided to.
That's great. I think that's it's a really noble sort of cause, man. It's
so and as I spoke to the brain tumor charity myself, saying the proper agreement is going to go in place, and so it's not just us going, we're going to do this, but we're not really, it's being done.
It is happening.
It's happening. It's our way of trying to support where we can. I mean, brain tumors as well, they're one of the least funded cancers.
Yes. Yeah.
There's a very little UK funding for cancers, for brain tumours, for that. So whatever we can do to help, and the guy I spoke to with them is quite excited, and they're going to be putting press releases once it's out, and helping social share, and so hopefully we can raise quite a bit of money for them. And,
yeah, well, definitely.
Yeah, and have a bit of fun writing candy fun stories at the same
time. Of course, yeah, of course.
But it's just people. It's also a way for writers to, because it's such an out there theme, to kind of maybe go outside the normal, things that they normally write.
Yeah.
So I
might have to have a bash of that myself, actually.
Yeah. So you can touch on elements, just
just keep it family friendly.
Just keep it,
so nobody getting ripped apart by tentacles then.
Oh, exactly. So take that bit out, but put everything else in with a load of, I'm on an episode of Sabrina the Teenage Witch for mine. So.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, and then I think I'm going Alice in Wonderland for the other. Sort of, just a chance to kind of go crazy, but you can still touch, but
awesome.
Yeah, so that one should be fun. But no, we're getting a lot of good submissions in, some really great stuff, and
that's good to hear. It's really good to hear.
Yeah, especially when you just set something up and you don't know whether or not anyone's gonna, and it's just people putting their trust in us. So we're doing what we can. So I'm doing all the book cover designing, which is fun.
Yeah, so, excellent.
Yeah, so Katie's doing most of the editing because I'm dyslexic.
Yeah.
I'm dyslexic, so I can't really do the editing.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But then I do all the formatting and stuff like that. So and then so there'll be.
Yeah, it sounds like you got quite a good bit of synchronicity going on there. So
between us,
symbiotic kind of relationship going on there.
Exactly. So when I came up with the idea to do a little publishing company, I was like, I can't do it on my own because, as I say, I knew editing isn't my thing. I'm a slow reader as well, and so trying to get through loads of submissions on my own just wouldn't be possible. And then I approached Katie, knowing that we'd known each other since school, even though we hadn't communicated, blah blah blah. Yeah, and so I can do the things. I'm quite good with the tech side, so the formatting and book covers, and so I've done a bit of graphic design in the past anyway. So I have those skills, but then she has a few other skills. So we kind of work well together. So the hope is we can continue to bring some fun stuff, and hopefully open to a bit more as time goes on.
Excellent. Yeah. So for you at home, check them out. That's www.ravenanddrakepublishing.com.
Wait a minute. Are we .com or are we .co.uk?
I thought it was .com.
.co.uk.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm always getting it wrong myself.
I'm an idiot. So ignore that bit at the bottom. So that's www.ravenanddrakepublishing.co.uk.
Sorry, I get it wrong myself all the
time. Yes, and earlier you were talking about Monster Club. So yeah, if you want to if you want to get hold of a copy of that for sort of somebody in your life, or maybe just for yourself, that's mybook.2/The Monster Club 1.
Yeah, and we even have a fun stuff in the back. So for kids, I put a glossary.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we've done fun things like that. So there's a glossary if kids don't quite understand certain words.
Oh, that's cool.
And I even have a which character are you quiz.
Hey!
You find out who you like. So yeah, hopefully. And there's even a map of the town. We even have a map of the town.
I love maps in books.
Yeah.
I love it.
About the kids. So yeah, there's lots in there. I've kind of packed it full of fun things.
That's really cool. So you did all the illustrations then, I take it?
Yeah. So I do all that myself, which means it takes a bit longer to get it out when you're trying to illustrate it all yourself. Fun vampire screaming.
Hey, that's cool. One of my mates looks like that. It looks like one of my mates.
Nice. It's
so Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Gemma Paul from Raven and Drake Publishing. If you want to get her, check her out some of her stuff. She has an author page on Facebook, which is www.facebook.com/Gemma P Author. Thank you. This has been great. Yeah, you'll have to come on another time. This always happens. It's like I feel we can talk a lot longer. But unfortunately, I've got to do something else in about half an hour.
It's my fault for getting distracted about dogs.
Yeah. That's all good.
Life, though, so.
That's what I love about these conversations. Though that's what I like. That's why I don't structure them, because I like to sort of get to know the author more than just answers to questions that everybody asks.
Yeah. No, it's been fun chatting. Anyway, it's definitely.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Right, and thank you all for watching. Yes, indeed.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Buy
her book. Buy it. Buy it.
When she's 10 feet tall. And if you go chasing rabbits and you know you're going to fall, tell them a hookah, smoking caterpillar and